I'm John. Welcome to Mr. G's Workbench and part 2 of the Panda Models 9K330 Tor build review. Not the first time I've said that today. Last time we were together, we did this. We built the hull, we assembled the wheels, and we assembled the kit-provided metal tracks. They came out really nice. I was very happy with them, my first time dealing with that. This week we're going to assemble the turret, and after that, next episode, we'll paint it and finish it up. So before we begin, thanks as always to Jim over at KitMaker for providing the kit we're taking a look at in this review. If you look in the description below, you'll see links to some of the KitMaker family of websites. They're great websites, lots of good information, lots of other reviews and information there. Hope you'll take a look. Before we get started, one last thing. It wouldn't be a YouTube channel if I didn't ask you to subscribe to my channel. When you do, you hit the bell. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And on top of that, you'd have my eternal gratitude. So with that, let's jump into the build. So let's get back to business on the Tor, and we're going to start building the turret. We're up to step 12. So the parts we're going to need, we've got the turret top. I'll put that there so you can see it. We've got H1, which is the lower part of the turret. We've got H13 and H5 are going to be the side panels. We've got H30. We've got the other side is H24. We've got this air duct looking thing, H29. And two parts of a pipe, H6 and H7. So let's jump in and get this together and see what it looks like.
All right, Mrs. G is working downstairs, so I got to be somewhat reserved. I just wanted to show you, this is G33, the focal point of this radar assembly that sits so high up on this vehicle. And it is just covered in all these attachment points and stuff. I did the G1 was the same way, and I took a video taking it off the sprue, and I mean, all right, quit my bitching, but you know, come on, there had to be a better way to do this. I'm not a kid engineer, but there had to be a better way. In any event, enough of the rant. Let me get this thing taken apart. So I'm trying to get through step 16 like a good lad. I've already encountered a couple of problems. The first problem was that G1, this grid work that goes back on the back of the radar assembly, wouldn't sit flush. No matter what I did, I wound up with a gap. It wound up being a balancing act between getting this piece to sit on here at all properly and getting these little axle areas to line up. I opted to just get it assembled and figured I'd work around that. I got the grid work on. This area of the instructions where they talk about 20, 21, 23, 24, good luck getting them all on properly. It's almost impossible to see how they fit in this diagram. I took my best guess at it. You can't really see much of it anyway once it's all assembled, so I went with what I was able to get on. I have to put 22 on. I'm waiting to do that until I finish assembling this. The next problem that I found was they have you put 38 and 42 together. There's a separate step here to put 11 and 32 together. So here's one, here's the other. The catch is, one of the things they want you to do is, the radar assembly is just going to magically drop into this hole on top of the 11 and 32 assembly. The problem is, it's got like a little, it's meant to be put on so it can be rotated. So I have not put this together yet because I'm still trying to figure out how to get this together properly. There's a hole here, which I assume is for this peg. But there's a peg on the back here. I have no idea what that's for because there's no hole in this. So I think what I'm going to do is clip that peg off. I'm going to slide this on and get that radar dish on here before this all dries, because it's well on its way right now. So let me do that, and then we'll get the rest of the parts on. You know, the mold quality on parts G42 and G38 was not good at all. You know, and then the way they have you put it together. If you're building this kit, what you're going to have to do, don't do it like this. You put these two together, leave this until you're ready to actually, you know what? Start again here. To ignore these instructions for the most part to get this together. Don't put 11 and 32 together until you're ready to drop the radar screen in, and then close that up. After you close that up, then you can clean up these two parts, G38 and G42, and attach them here. This just, to me, is just really bad. I'm still looking forward to seeing what these holes are for at the end. And I've still got these other parts to put on the back of here. I've got 22 to put on here. I didn't want to attach any more spindly parts to this until I have it attached to this and it's on the vehicle. So let me let this dry and we'll come back through the magic of video and we'll see what we've got. Alright, before I take double blood pressure medication today, I thought I'd share with you the end of step 16. Let me show you what I've done and what I won't be doing. I had to replace this cross piece here, which was originally supposed to be, G19. It broke while I was trying to install it because it was too long. I replaced it with a piece of styrene rod. I puttied up these spots here like I said I would. The radar dish itself is glued to this bracket. If you do it right, I'm sure it'll pivot in place. This still rotates, I think. So I've got that going for me. The parts G40 are both here. G39 was there as well. I've got one here. One fell off while I was holding it in the clamp. And yeah, I'll tell you the truth, 0 F's given at this point. The photo etch piece went on. Down here at the bottom, they talk about G16, G12, and G15. Here's what I did. You can't put G12 in one piece after this is assembled. What I wound up doing was I cut G12 right underneath a line in the part. It looks like some piece of cabling. I cut it right under there. The U-shaped piece went over the pivot point here. I glued that in place. Then I took the other part which connects to the center part of the radar. I affixed it at the bottom. I lucked out and I got them to meet up here like they're supposed to. Part G15 has a circular piece that this G12 is supposed to go over, and it all connects to this pivot. Yeah, no, that wasn't going to happen at this point. I had to get 12 on so I could do this whole piece. I cut the circular piece that would have gone underneath the pivot point. I cut that off and I installed the rest of G15 here. So that's how I did it. G16 went on earlier. So this is the radar dish assembly at this point. And as we move into step 17, we'll be affixing it to the vehicle. So here's a news flash that I just realized, and I'm guessing that some of you watching this probably realized it long before I did. I've mounted this entire piece upside down. And that's my fault. But what I did was I didn't focus on this when it came time to do... they showed it upside down here, and then they flipped it right side up to install all the parts. And that was my tip off here, and I didn't pay attention. So that's where I'm at. That's how it's going to look now. Sorry. You know, it's not going to change it coming out looking cool or not. So let's just press on. I just wanted to show you I'm installing the details on the top of the turret to finish this off. I have port G55 here, and G55 slots into, there's 4 slots here. There's a raised end here. So what I discovered, and I wanted to pass along, was when you go to put this in, the slots are different sizes to make sure you put it on the right way. The one catch is if you want this to sit down over this, you have to kind of slide that on there first. and then the tabs go right into the slots. Easy enough. Well, we're done with the turret. I'm not going to lie, this was a challenge to get together. The first challenge being that I put the radar dish on upside down, and that's my own fault. But I would make a note that the instructions show it this way, which is upside down, while you're assembling it. Then when it's getting installed onto this bracket, it's shown flipped around. And none of this other stuff was on it at the time. I installed it. I didn't think twice of it. Everything was fitting together just fine. I went with it. Only later on did I realize that that was wrong. But at that point, it was too late to do anything about it. This will turn. It rotates on the base that it's on. This would tilt forward and backwards, but the connection was too loose. I had to glue it to get it to stay, and I used a lot of CA on this overall with the radar dish and this assembly here, getting it installed onto the turret. All I can say is take, like any Kitty Hawk kit or Panda Hobby, obviously is still the same way. You read each step carefully, look at the parts placement before you do anything, and then run with it from there. I think it looks really nice. I like the detail. Very involved when you look at the overall assembly. So I can't complain about that. I think it'll look great when it's painted. The same thing on the dish in the front. That tilts forward and backwards once you get this all connected. It's thought out. I think that they need somebody to do their directions a little bit better. If this would have just been, the diagrams would have been a little clearer and the assembly sequence a little bit more thought out, I think this would have been a great build. I think it would have been a lot less hassle than it turned out to be. But again, I'm happy with it. We can take a look and see what it looks like on here. So you can kind of get a sense of where we're going with this. I don't want to snap it in because then I know I'll never get it back out. So there it is. Give me 1 second. I'll move the camera so you can get a better look at it. Yeah, let's see. There you go. And I think that's kind of butch looking. I think it'll be impressive. Like I said, under a coat of paint, I think we're going to be good. The two schemes given in the directions, one is like a 3 or 4 color camo, and the other is just green. I'm going with just green because I'm not masking this off. And to be quite honest, I recently watched a video by Night Shift where he did I think it's a BMP-3, something like that. It was a modern Russian armored vehicle. It was all one color green, and I want to try and emulate that. I'm going to refer back to that in the next episode. We're going to finish up. We're going to paint it. We're going to put the tracks on. I'm going to do paint masks to do the only markings on it were numbers. So we're going to do that with some paint masks. I'll show you how I cut them, and maybe we can all learn from that experience. So thanks again for tuning in. Next time we get together will be the last episode of this build review. We're going to paint. We're going to get the final assembly. We'll get the turret on. We'll get the tracks and wheels on. And I think I've got good thoughts about this. I've got nothing but good thoughts about it. So I'll see you next time. Take care.